Good morning, this is Ron Brown. I'm doing this video on Thursday, May 25th, 2017, and I'm going to discuss the top 50 GIR Group Inclusion Report. There are videos on the site that show how I do the top 50, and I get all kinds of questions all the time. What is the top 50? Well, essentially what it is a method of selecting a group of our SmartGroups in HGSI, and the stocks which appear most often in the SmartGroups, I limit the number to 50, take the top 50, and this gives me a prospecting list, or a list of stocks for further evaluation and potential trades. That's what it is. No, it's not comparable to the, or I shouldn't say comparable because a lot of the same stocks do show up, but it's not the IBD 50 that's based upon CAN-SLIM principles and so on. It is a method of finding the stocks and groups that are moving, and then further evaluation will tell you if these are prospective candidates or not. Let's just take a look at some of these stocks. Now this is from yesterday's list. You can see that it says 524. I'm doing this on the 25th. So this was run last night. This is intraday. It's 10:07 a.m. So these stocks, quotes, prices, or these prices are delayed 15 minutes. And you can see that most of these are doing well today. The market's up again today. It's in a perpetual bull market right now, but many of these are running up, and I want to show you some examples. Let's just take the top stock here based upon what I call my strong momentum intraday combo, and it's SQ. Now this is a stock that's appearing today, and if I bring this stock up, you're going to say, well, boy, this stock is running. Here is a signal from yesterday right here. But I posted this on a Skype group for people who have taken my webinars. I suggested that this was a potential buy a couple of days ago, but there were many earlier buys on this stock. Why was it a buy a couple of days ago? First of all, this green line represents a pullback from the prior day's high. And the setup is, if it breaks past that prior day's high, there is your entry point. If you're more aggressive, you could take it off of this high here. But anyway, right in there. And what do we have here? We have a couple of VPA flags, and these are efforts to rise. That means that the stock closed at the higher end of its range on increasing volume. You can see the volume down here. So a couple of excellent calls here. What else is going on with this? Well, the group is moving up. The earnings are out of the way. Another thing I look for is I like to see the 3-day exponential moving average above the 6-day and above the 18. Now, just to show you that this isn't a stock that was appearing today, what I want to do is I'm going to take the symbol, the security, into what we call the designer. I'll just click through to the designer, and every day I keep a record of stocks that are appearing in the top 50 group inclusion report, plus some other user groups. So to find out where these, or I should say where this stock appeared recently in these groups that I keep every day, what I'm going to do is I'll just type the symbol in here, turn the caps on and type in SQ, and then I am going to click over here in this area where this folder is. It will turn blue, and what that's doing, it's going through the database and it's finding every occurrence of SQ. You can see that it is in a lot of ETFs, which means that more than likely there's a good volume on this stock. It's in the Russell 1000, it's in the NYSE, specialty finance, consumer finance. It's appearing in all of these smart groups. Today, these are current smart groups, and if you look down the list here, you can see that since January 3rd, it's been appearing in the user group, or my user group of stocks and groups moving to the upside. Let's go to a more current area. Let's look at May. You can see, or actually, let's go back here to April. It was appearing 412, 417, 419, 420, 424, 425. These are stocks and groups moving up. Let's go down here. You can see that there were several VPA flags along the way for several months here. Top 50 group inclusion report. This is where I want to go. I'll go back to that April date, April 12th. It appeared in the top 50, and you can see that it's appeared multiple times since then. So I'll bring up the chart of SQ, put a crosshair on here, and 412. If you look down here in the lower left hand corner, it was on a Wednesday, and the crosshair is here. So you can see that there were several VPA flags down here indicating that this stock was under accumulation. Here's a test for supply, here's a test for supply, here's a confirmation of that test, and also at the same time there was an effort to rise. Then it pulled back. Here's the green line here. This was a pullback from the high, from this high, and there are multiple green lines here because it kept pulling back, and the breakout point from off of this high here, or it could possibly be off of this high right here, was at this point, and that number is $17.48 if you look down here in the lower right hand corner. And you can see that at the same time it went from a contraction area, this is all contraction, to expansion. And where did the expansion begin? The expansion started right here when these moving averages started expanding, growing apart, and it started moving up. Here was a shakeout day, but you can see that the 3 stayed above the 6, went up here, went into another contraction area. You can see multiple pullback days, multiple green lines. Every one of those could have been a buying opportunity, and here it took off. Now at the same time, I want to point out this is an indicator unique to HGSI. It's called the volume point of control 1010. You can see it was chopping back and forth between bearish and bullish control. Bullish control is green. It turned green here. It stayed green all the way up. We had a one-day pullback on heavier volume here on this shakeout, but the next day it was nearly an inside day, but it quit going down, and it formed a white body, and that actually, this would be a confirmed pivot coming off of that. This would be the low. It would have to take out this high on this black candle for that pivot to be confirmed, and I pointed that same area out the other day. Now look at the volume here, very heavy volume, so there's a lot of liquidity in this stock. Now I want to point out that this is a stock which has nothing to do with can slim techniques, anything else. It's based strictly on the number of appearances in the SmartGroups, and if a stock is moving up, there is a good chance that it's going to appear in the top 50. I should say appear at some point. There are no guarantees, but the point is there are plenty of opportunities here. Let's look at this from a different perspective. I'm using a view called the scorecard view. I'm going to sort on the industry group, and you can see that a lot of these stocks in the top 50 belong to the application software group, and several of them are semiconductor devices, semiconductor manufacturing. These are the groups that have been leading this rally. Here's some internet-based services. You can see that the VPOC is green on all of these, and this is the number of days since they turned green. If I go over to this side, you can see that there are some familiar names in here. Let's look at this from the perspective of the scorecard. In other words, the earnings per share rank, the relative strength rank, and the group rank. The three of those total together are ERG, which is just the total from these three components. Notice that most of these stocks are green, which means that they're in the 80 percentile of relative strength. In other words, they are outperforming 80% of the other stocks in the entire database. So these are strong stocks. Many of them are in highly ranked groups. That just updated, but you can see that there are groups in the 80s and 90s. Yes, there are some stocks that are red in red groups, but they still appear in here if they're appearing often in the smart group. Another thing, look at the accumulation. Most of these stocks have A or B accumulation. We have one down here with D accumulation. That's Charter Communication. Let's just take a look at it. You can see why the accumulation is D. This stock has fallen off sharply, but why is it in the top 50? Because it has reversed and started moving up, and the group is moving up. So we're not always looking for stocks that are breaking out to new highs with the top 50. You're going to get a variety of candidates here, and then you have to evaluate them. Analyze them based upon a VPA, contraction, expansion, what the group's doing, etc., the earnings. All of this can be figured in. It's just a matter of evaluating and determining if you want to trade that stock and then defining your risk. Now there's a lot of ways to massage this data. This is not going to be a very long video, but let me just show you something that I like to do under my most used stock prospecting scans. By the way, these are available if you're a member of the Insider Club. But if I get a group of stocks, or when I get a group, the top 50 or whatever else I'm looking at, I usually just come in here and flip through these. Now this is my impulse reaction method. In other words, I'm looking for that green line, a slight pullback from the high, and these are the stocks which passed that today. You can see that every one of them are up, other than AAOI, which is currently overbought. It was up earlier in the day, but every one of these stocks have pulled back, and you can see the green line was generated here, it was generated here, it was generated here. These are all buys, every one of them. Now this one here, on this shakeout day, you might have been stopped out, but here's another re-entry. Here's your pivot, low, and if it takes out this high right at that point, that was a buy. Let's look at Paycom Software. You can see multiple buys here on the IR method. The IR method stands for impulse. The impulse is the move up, and the R is the reaction. In other words, it's expansion going into consolidation. You're looking for stocks that are coming out of consolidation. You do not need to factor in a million other things. We're looking for stocks that are moving, preferably tight stocks like this, stocks, like I said, that are going from expansion to contraction and then coming out of that. Here is Paycom Software. So that's one thing I look at. I'm looking at the pullback from the previous day. Let's just move down here. Now these have a bullish VPA flag today. Stocks are in groups. The VPOC is up, or the volume point of control, and there's a 3-day window. You're going to see a lot of the same stocks in here, but there are some different ones. In other words, you can see that the VPOC is in a 3-day window right here if you look down at the bottom. And let's go to a different view here. I'll do what I call my expansion contraction with pocket pivots. This is, we'll do the 3, 6, and 18 exponential moving averages. These blue lines represent positive pocket pivots. You can see that there are many of them. The green histogram here shows you when a stock is in its expansion mode, and if it falls below the zero line, if it's red, it's expanding, but it's on the negative side. So you can see the ebb and flow. It expands, it flattens out. That corresponds to this here, where the contraction mode is. We're back into expansion. It pulls back, and now we're back into expansion again. Look at all these great VPA flags that are showing up on this chart. Let me quickly run through some of these other ones. VPA flag today. All of these had a VPA flag as of yesterday. Here's the VPA signal. Most of them were effort to rise. See this 0? That means the days since the last VPA signal. How many of these are up? Most of them are up. Here's Bob Evans Farms having a bad day, down 10.53. Let's see what happened. It's not earnings, but there had to be a news event. You can see that there are buyers stepping up. It's forming a test for supply, which is represented by this magenta square. But that will not be valid until the end of the day because this stock could continue to fall. So the VPA flags that are formed intraday really are not valid until later in the day. But it had to be some sort of news event. I'm not going to take the time to look it up right now. I'm just pointing out different things that you can do. But look at the rest of these. And by the way, this Bob Evans was a great stock until this news event, and it still could be a great stock. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go into the designer and I will type in BOBE and let's see if it's appeared recently. So it's going through all of this, and you can see that Bob Evans is in a lot of ETFs. It's in the NASDAQ, all securities, of course. It appeared in all of these SmartGroups and the VPA signals. I want to get down here. It doesn't look like it's appeared in the top 50 very often, but it has appeared in several of the Morales and Casher and the Woodward and Brown SmartGroups. I'm just going to scroll down here and see if there's anything recent. This is March. You can see that it's appeared multiple times. Okay, here's April. The W&B SmartGroups, consistent earnings growth. LLUR, which means lower left to upper right. That's the chart formation. This is lower left over here on the left-hand side to upper right. That's a powerful formation. It's appeared in that smart group many times, it looks like. So there's all kinds of ways to discover these stocks. In fact, I have a screen in here for lower left to upper right, which is a good way to locate these leading stocks. Quickly going down the list here, VPOC, volume point of control, up and down, 10 period with a 3-day window. A lot of the same stocks appeared in here. These are pocket pivots, 5 and 10-day pocket pivots, bullish pocket pivots. There are 10 securities which have a 5-day pocket pivot. There are only 9 that have a 10-day pocket pivot. That's why I have both in here. So you can look for both 5 and 10-day pocket pivots. And these are pocket pivots that are happening today. These are just a few of the screens that I have in here. Now here's the pocket pivot. This is intraday today. This would be yesterday. Multiple pocket pivots as this stock was moving up. What do we have on data? We have a contraction area. You can see where the 3 and the 6 came together. Held above the 18 though. The 3 went above the 6 yesterday, and there were 1, 2, 3 VPA flags yesterday. We have a confirmation today. If it can get past this resistance area here, it's got a good chance to go. Earnings are out of the way. The group is moving up. Yeah, look at these negative earnings. Doesn't matter. These are the actual earnings up here. This stock is in a strong group moving up. This is the advantage of using something like the top 50. We locate stocks that may or may not appear in other groups just because the fundamentals are not there for strict requirements. If you're a can slimmer, for example, I have no idea if this one is appearing in the IBD top 50. But I really don't care. Why would I care if it's moving? If it's meeting all the other criteria, the technical criteria, the group is moving up, and it's a tight stock. Anyway, I don't want to get bogged down in this video. It's just some thoughts on looking at these stocks in the top 50. And it's not just the top 50 GIR. Remember, that's only one method of looking for candidates, but it is a method which gives us many quality stocks, which when they appear in here, they often just continue to go higher. Thank you for listening.